Hello there, welcome. Something a bit different today. I thought what I'd do is do a quick webcam video, see how these go down with you all, because I wanted to respond to a comment that was made to the last video. A good positive comment by a lovely subscriber who's been a regular contributor to the channel through the comments for some time. So I thought that he deserved this little video. So this is to describe in very layman's terms and simple terms, the way that I understand it, what we're dowsing when we douse earth energy. And what we're going to be talking about is how it appears that we are actually dowsing the quantum level of existence. Okay, so, there's a lot of bandying around of the word quantum in spiritual circles. And that's fine, because really what we are dealing with when we're looking at our spirituality and our connection to all that is, and in fact even just living in the isness that is life, in this, let's say, slow motion dream that we're all involved in for a few decades, what we're involved in is we're deeply embedded in the quantum field of infinite possibility. Now, you can look up some of the videos, some of the conversations I've had with people like Dr. Amit Goswami or even Dr. Jude Currivan, the cosmologist, on this channel. Just pop them into the search engine on the channel and dig them out, because those conversations that I've had with those sort of people, there are others as well. Those sort of conversations, we talk about the quantum foam of infinite possibility. And this is really, really, really fundamental and important to the whole process of not only dowsing earth energy, which we'll get to in a second, but the whole process of us recognizing our true power, our potential, the essence of who we are. Because let me tell you, not only do we access the quantum field of infinite possibility, but we are the quantum field of infinite possibility. This is the crux of it. It's just so significant. We think of it as being something separate because we're in this formulated layer of physicality with these physical boundaries that are in place all the time, and everything stays more or less as we expect it to be. And there's a reason for that. But we are made from the quantum field of infinite possibility. And if we want to really master our true self for future experiences in a different form, what I mean is, once we've died and gone to another vibration and we decide how we're going to return and what the management upstairs, the higher beings, have in store for us, then we can re-manifest at a different level and a different vibration. But we will probably still be, and this is hypothetical, still be working with a field, even if it isn't the quantum field, we'll be working with a field of manifesting potential. So let's just bring it back to human level, to human understanding, before I get completely carried away. As human beings, we interact with the quantum field of infinite possibility. The quantum field is the layer where atomic particles are formulated, they come into existence, and they collapse into solid structure. The essence of the process is that it requires an observer, some kind of observation from some kind of sentient being, we assume, in order for that collapse to occur. Now, one of the things that we've come to accept as spiritual beings, and when I say we've come to accept, this sort of information that I've had downloaded to me and others have downloaded to them, and the research, the science is now catching up with all of this sort of spiritual information and the spiritual perspective. So what we've come to understand is that, quite frankly, we're living on a vibration I'm going to use these basic terms. I'm not interested in the detail of it. I don't care where we are in a structure, but we're living in a vibration, and we are each individually separate aspects of the quantum field of infinite possibility. We have our own place within it. And within the dowsing community, there is the vast amount of research continuing to go into earth energy. And Hamish Miller, my mentor, there are other videos about Hamish Miller on the channel. Hamish Miller, my mentor in the 70s and 80s, was instrumental in helping move forward the understanding of earth energy, or at least start to open the door on what it is and what does it mean for humanity and for this experience of being alive today. There are other practitioners, other dowsers, particularly looking at this. There are people like Paul Seurat, Rory Duff, Gary Vasey. All of those people can be searched on YouTube, and you can connect with them and find out where they are with everything. But the key thing is that when we douse, when we explore using intuition and guided by the higher beings to explore this aspect of our reality with a dowsing rod or a pendulum, what we're doing, earth energy, what earth energy is a part of the quantum foam of infinite possibility. It is the pattern within the quantum foam. So the quantum foam, the quantum field of infinite possibility that permeates absolutely everything, from which all matter is made, is called by science, it's called the 0-point field. And the 0-point field, just like a liquid that we experience in physicality, streams, rivers, lakes, the sea, oceans, all of those features, the water features, have swirling vortices, they have tides, and they have channels where water is slightly different within the structure overall of water. If you think about oceans, that's particularly relevant. If you want to see the way that the water vortices change and move, and there are ripples and currents within streams and rivers, then they're the best bet. Sit by a river and just contemplate it, look at it quietly. Fantastic. The same thing applies to the infinite field of possibility. There are currents, there are flows, and of course we call that a network. It is a network of earth energy, and it is a network within the quantum foam of possibility. So when we're manifesting, or when we're just being, because make no mistake about the fact that even just being, just going about business day to day, we're constantly recreating the environment in which we exist. 100%. It's a co-creative process, but it's 100% happening all the time, whether we like it or not. Now, what the spiritual perspective helps a person do is to understand that they have some input, and they can magnify that input into that quantum field of infinite possibility, into the 0-point field. You do that by meditating, by cultivating a process of mindfulness. It doesn't mean to say you have to be an angel. You don't have to be a saint, and that's not the point. That's not the purpose. But what you have to do is you do have to meditate. You do have to be mindful about how you exist within the quantum field of infinite possibility, so that you can then work with it as part of everything. And you work with the manifest objects, and you work with the less manifest objects as well. The point of spirituality is that you're actually open to the fact that everything has a consciousness, a conscious awareness. The entire environment that we find ourselves in is conscious, and earth energy is conscious. Earth energy will respond to your presence. The 0-point field will respond to your presence. You sit and meditate and you focus on your heart. Not only are you changing the electromagnetic field that you have around you, but it is reflected within the 0 point field. You can see it, you can measure it. It's completely a very practical thing, which is why I am so keen on people learning to dowse so that they can pick up these really lovely and amazing ways that the 0 point field responds to the individual. And what we find in the 0 point field, what we find in earth energy, are some of the most fundamental sacred shapes, sacred patterns, fundamental to our existence and what we are. Now I'm just going to finish with this thought, because there's a lot of my experience of the world is that there are a lot of people very concerned about how the state of the world appears to be. I used the term earlier on, like a slow motion dream. Our lives are like a slow motion dream. It is exactly that to me. That's the way I see it. It's because we are manifesting and creating on a much slower level than we do when we're dreaming, when we're in that, semi-conscious state. And being a part of the 0 point field, being a unique part of the conscious cosmos, means that we have some input into what occurs directly in our experience. And that input is governed by others, is governed and judged. Judgment is a strange word. I don't know why I'm using judgment. It's governed. I mean, that again sounds like a controlling process, but we work in harmony, whether we do it consciously or not. And the idea of a spiritual development is that you're doing it consciously with the higher beings. And part of that spiritual development is actually that you choose to become selective. You are choosing to align your energy to higher beings that actually are going to give a more satisfactory response, a more satisfactory reality for you to experience from one moment to the next. Don't forget that the world, the environment in which you live, is recreated every single nanosecond, and probably even shorter time frame than a nanosecond. So it's being recreated all the time from the 0 point field and as part of the 0 point field. And so that your choices, how you behave, the resonance of your heart creates the environment in which you live and exist. And what I said in the little short video about what we do on the channel and about how a spiritual awakening can really kick off some significant steps towards changing the reality in which you live, and how intuitive dowsing is part of the system that I use to help people do this, because it's just so straightforward and practical. It gives us something to do as well as be. What I was saying there was that once we understand that we have influence within the 0 point field, and we have a way of being and doing to contact earth energy and align to earth energy, and we don't have to travel miles to go to a sacred site that the ancients used to use. That's great. Absolutely brilliant if you want to, because what you're doing when you travel to those sacred sites, the ancient Neolithic stones, for example, what you're doing is you're connecting to a major power center, a major point of focused manifesting power. But you can equally do the same process in the comfort of your own home. You can stay at home, so anybody can do this and connect to the earth energy power center in your home, because all of it, because we're talking about living within a sea of 0 point field, a sea of quantum foam of infinite possibility. We are made from it, don't forget. Because we are within it, everything is connected throughout. But the fundamental thing is to recognize that what we call earth energy lines, which are sometimes mistakenly called ley lines, but earth energy lines are not two-dimensional. They're not drawn into the 0 point field. They are tubes. They carry information within the 0 point field. Just like the channels within a stream or within a river or within a lake or an ocean carry different aspects of that water in the physical world, these channels carry information within them, and they speed, well, the time is irrelevant, because it's just basically everything being connected. Everything happens instantly, virtually. I mean, I don't know, science could probably, one day will probably work out the timing of manifesting, everything. But if we want to be aligned to our best possible selves, and like I say, this is not about being a saint, it's not about being perfect, it's not about being anything that we're not in our own moment of now. It's about recognizing our own moment of now, being balanced with the physicality on a spiritual level. And the best way to do that at a certain stage is to connect to the conduits of information flow that are taking information from our being as part of the 0 point field to the ultimate creator and back again throughout the network of our experience that we see and feel and touch and hear as our reality. So when we tune in to the earth energy / 0 point field, we are maximizing the information flow. We are maximizing the point of contact to the creator, to the aspect of the universe that we are in that we cannot recognize unless we're lucky, and unless we're spiritually developed to such a vibration that we get close enough to hear or feel that presence, which incidentally is a presence of love. And never forget that. Love does really 100% underlie everything. Now, I think I've said enough and I may have got you confused, but fundamentally, the answer to what I was talking about in the first video lies within the last 17 minutes or so. Thank you for listening. If you've got this far, well done. You deserve a medal. Been great talking to you. Take care now. Bye-bye.